know about it.
The brutality and the violence lost even the facade of purpose. There was nothing but futility. In December 1983, I remember I saw a body lying on the road, and I wrote in my diary, "The image which most sticks in my mind is that of a man's body in the middle of the main Beirut-Tripoli highway on a sunny afternoon. He lay on his stomach, and his face was turned to the right, at the side of a small pool of blood which had flowed from his head. He was undoubtedly trying to cross the road only minutes before when a car hit him. There are so many ways to end this life. This man, probably a poor Lebanese Christian, had survived 8 years of war, of shelling, shooting, and torment, to become a corpse on the coast highway. I have no meaningful or poignant reflections on his death, but I can't get the sight of him out of my mind, any more than I can that of a 6-year-old boy with the top of his skull shot off in Tel Zatar in August 1976. The dead man on the highway merited no mention in the pages of the world's press or on the screens of the world's televisions. I can see the man and the boy in my mind's eye, casualties of the modern age for whom I could do nothing, and in whose privacy, for in death there should be privacy, I was a trespasser, a voyeur, preoccupied more with the effect on myself than with the injustice done to them. If I ignore the effect on myself, or allow nothing to affect me, am I a human being at all?
Somehow I had been missing the story of Lebanon as a journalist. Its complexities, its tribal makeup, its horrible beauty could not reveal themselves in television news spots of a minute or two, or even in the longer articles I used to send to The Spectator in London. So I went back again, not as a journalist, but to write a book about Lebanon and the countries around it. The Syrian army had returned to police West Beirut after Terry Waite's kidnapping in January 1987. The Syrian commanders said Beirut was safe. It wasn't. I resented the idea that Iran and the kidnappers it paid could keep me out of Lebanon, but I should have known better.
Police in West Beirut say Charles Glass was kidnapped yesterday afternoon at the southern, Syrian-controlled entrance to Beirut as he drove back from the city of Sidon with his friend Ali Saran, the son of Lebanon's defense minister. The kidnappers, according to the police, dragged the two men and Ali Saran's police bodyguard out of their white Volvo only 450 yards from a Syrian checkpoint and drove all three away. Unconfirmed reports carried by a local radio station say that Glass was bundled into the trunk of one of the 3 cars that participated in the kidnapping, and that Saran, a Shiite Muslim, refused the chance to escape.
When the kidnappers took me, I was shocked, just as every hostage is shocked, just as everyone who loses a loved one in the war is shocked, that this could finally happen to me.
No one was immune. My friends Terry Anderson and Terry Waite were already in captivity. The kidnappers were holding the best people, the teachers, the aid workers, the humanitarians who loved Lebanon and were trying to help it. A few weeks after they put me in chains and locked me away, one of my kidnappers asked me, "Have you ever heard of Tel Zatar?" He was a teenager and could not have been more than 6 or 7 when the Tel Zatar camp fell, but he wanted to lecture me about it anyway. The dehumanization wrought by war had turned boys like him into cruel kidnappers who didn't care at all whether the other hostages or I ever saw our families again. They had never known anything but killing, bombing, shooting, the uncertainty of war and the near certainty of death. As long as they ruled the streets, there would be more kidnapping, more murder, more destruction, more Tel Zatars, until finally they would leave no trace of the Lebanon we once knew.
What happened?
Well, I was kidnapped and held for 62 days.
How did you get out?
I escaped.
Who had you? Stop us.
I don't know.
Stop. 2 seconds, please.
All right, 2 seconds, quick.
2 seconds, come on.
One question.
How you escaped, Charles?
I rigged up my chain so I could get out, and I went out on a balcony and back into the apartment through another door, down the stairs, and out to the street, and got a family in a car at a bakery to give me a lift to the Summerland.
Were you mistreated?
No.
When do you go back to Lebanon?
Who was holding you, Charlie, and what did they
I
tell
don't know who was holding me. I really don't. I mean, guys, you know what they're like in Beirut. Guys that look like you.
Welcome back.
Day's Israeli attack in Lebanon.
Now I watch Lebanon from a distance and share the frustration of many Lebanese exiles.
Killed, but at a cost. In heavy fighting in Israel,
I know the villages being bombed. I know the people being killed. They still touch all of us who lived there, all of us who took so much from Lebanon. I cannot in my heart abandon either the Lebanese or my friends who are still hostages. I cannot forget what Lebanon was, what Lebanon is in the endurance of its people, and what I hope it might be again.